So on this second lesson, we are going to be creating this section of the tutorial. Okay, welcome back. If you've made it to this second video and you're not subscribed, please kindly hit the subscribe button. So here we are going to group one or two items and proceed to the second phase of this lesson. The first thing we want to group here is the three links here. To do that, click on the first item you want, then you can hold the shift, then you can select others while holding the shift, then Control or Command G to group. After doing that, hold the shift again and select this item here, then Control or Command G to group. We're done with this. The next one is this section. So click on the first item, hold shift and select these other two items, then press Ctrl G. After that, we can move to the next part of this tutorial, which is to create another item. To do that, I'm going to pick the rectangle and I'll drag that here to create a simple frame. So I have this rectangle here, and I want us to place an image on this rectangle. To do that, we're going back to this icon here, click on the drop down and then place an image here. So I'm going to scroll down here. I have a picture I want of B. Jordan. So I'll select this and then click open. So you have to select this rectangle that we created earlier and then place the image here. I want the head to be visible, so I'll just adjust that a bit. I'm going to hold the command and then scroll in so we can see this. The next thing is I want to add another rectangle. I'm going to click on this and then drag this here. Make sure it's the same width with this one and try to cover the empty space here. So we have this. The next thing I want to do is I want to change the color of this newly added rectangle to white. But the problem is the white, it's not visible. So I'm going to click on the white rectangle and then we're going to add effect to that. And it's now visible. But let's do some little settings on this. I'm going to select the white background, then click on this effect settings. Then here, let's start by changing this to 10%. And then for the blur, I will change that to 10%. Then here on the Y, I can make that a bit 6. You can play with that around, but since this is beginners friendly, we're not going to do much. Stop there. So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add a text here with Michael B. Jordan. Obviously, this text is too big. So for you to edit the text size, you have to click on the text and then come back here. And let's make this, let's see how 18 looks. Let's make that 16 first. Let's see. Okay, 16 looks good. After that, I'm going to click on text here, and I already have some bunch of text copied to my clipboard. So I'm just going to paste that here to save time. So I have some text here about Michael B. Jordan. I typed that earlier before the tutorial. So you can pause it if you want the same text, or you can also copy from somewhere and then paste it here. So just make sure you're having text there. So after this, let's add a small button here. Let's give them. Yeah, so you can increase this. So I have a button here. So let's say I'm making this 38. That's the height. 38. In our previous lesson, we learned about border radius. So we're going to make this 8. Okay, I think 8 is too much for that, so let's make that 4. So we can change the background color, click on the fill, and I can pick this. Then the next thing I want to do is I want to add a text to tell them to read more. Read more. So I'm going to follow that with 3 dots. So I'll try to drag the text, bring it somewhere here. Let me zoom in so we can see. I have this here already. So now let's do some ratings for Michael B. Jordan. Let's add some ratings here. So this will be like our top, futures for the week. So here to add a star, let's do that manually. Let's click on the drop down here. So I have stars here. So I can click on this. So I can just drag this to add a star. But you notice the star is not in a perfect or good looking condition. So to get that perfect star, hold shift. You see, once you hold the shift, we get the perfect star that we want. So please make sure you hold the shift. Then I will drag that and bring it in here. So I have my first star here. So I think I'm going to, from here, we can change the width and height. So let's make that with 16 or 16. So I have that here, 16. Let's change the color, click on the fill, and I'm going to select this. So for us to add other stars, I'm going to click on this, press Ctrl or Command D to duplicate. Once you do that once, it's okay. The next thing you need to do is click and then drag here. Then Ctrl D to duplicate and then to duplicate again. So we have 5-star rating for B. Jordan. So I can group these stars. So click on the first one, hold shift, click on the second one, third one, fourth, and then the fifth. Then Ctrl G to just group them together. So now that we have this item, on the very good day, I would love to put something here, maybe like an arrow. So let's do that. So let's add an arrow. So I can use this, pick that pen tool. So click on the first position, hold shift, and then drag this. You notice if you're holding shift, you're going to get this perfectly. Then click on the next position, then while holding shift, click till it aligns to the first point. You're done. So now go out and then click on the button here, done. So you see I have this arrow here, so I can drag that. Sorry, double click if you're having something like this, to double click so that you exit that mode. Just drag it in here. So now we can close this. Make sure you close this. Then let's reduce the size of this. So let's say we're making this 16 here. So we have this tiny arrow here. So now to increase the stroke, while selecting this, scroll down where you see stroke. You can click on this and then increase that, you see. So whatever you want. So now we can change the color of the stroke to this. Yeah, something like this. So now I'll click on this, double click, and then try to just align it with the stars. Okay, good. So I'll just leave it somewhere here, because in the next lesson we're going to deal with alignment. So the next thing I want is I want us to group these items. So to do that, I'm going to highlight and then Ctrl G to group everything. Once you have that grouped, so I'm going to zoom out a bit, you can just do Ctrl D to duplicate, drag this here, something like this, D, and then in design, I think we can even do this. Yes. So if you are having that, you can do this so that you tell the user, okay, they can actually scroll from left to right. So now I can change the images here. I can try to do this. Click here, place image. I can pick any image I want. So let's say I'm going with this previous one we used yesterday. So you can try and change that for the other ones. So we can even go ahead, select these items like this, and then even group them, Ctrl G, and Now I can just try to drag them down, you see, and move it together. So I'll just say here, top inspiration, top 5 inspiration. So let me zoom in so that you see what I'm typing. Top 5 inspiration. So now we can just increase the size of the text to, let's say, maybe 34 here. So I can just drop that here. And we can increase the font weight, maybe semi-bold. Or, yeah. So I think I will stop here, so that on our next lesson, we'll try the alignment, try to align everything here, makes that look perfect. So if you're new to my channel and you're still not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you.